Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know what I'm here for. A stress test for WWE 2K25 on the Switch 2. Shout out to 2K for going on ahead, hooking me up with a copy, and I'm able to go on ahead and do a bunch of things for you guys to let you know if this game is truly worthwhile on the Switch 2. Now, when we go back to 2K18, that was notoriously bad, and this was a pleasant surprise. This game actually played well on here. Now, there were a couple things that did throw me off, but I'm going to go on ahead and talk about that as well. Nonetheless, though, let's go on ahead and get into it, get into some details, facts, some videos, because I did capture both docked gameplay and handheld gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. Let's go on ahead and get into it. Firstly, I went ahead and tested a bunch of different match types, a lot of them with 8 men, because we do know that the more characters you put with all of the other textures and things that are in the game can make the game bug out a little bit. And surprisingly, the game did not bug out one bit. I mean, I literally did a War Games match with 8 people inside the ring at the same time. I did not experience no frame drops, literally nothing. The game played as it was supposed to. Now, I kind of lied about no frame drops. When the camera pans in on a move, like a cinematic move, it does give you frame drops because that doesn't go at the highest frames on these consoles, and that's something that does happen on the PS4 and Xbox One. So I do want to go on ahead and point that out. So when you're looking at the Switch 2 version, the one that it can be compared to most is the Xbox One and the PS4 version. That's just really what it is. Now, there are some changes that the Switch 2 version did get, and again, this isn't a full blown out review. This is more just talking about, can it run well on the Switch 2? So there were some switches on there that are not on the PS4 and Xbox One, so I definitely want to go on ahead and point that out. Now, I did play an 8-man match with the War Games. That was really good. It ran really well. I was able to go on ahead, finish it over on the handheld version, and I ran it on the dock. So if I basically see that it can run well on the handheld, I basically expect it'll run well on the dock as well. So I went ahead and tried a couple different match types. I tried an 8-man brawl with the archives, which I don't think that's on PS4 and Xbox One. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but yes, this ran extremely well, and the side-by-side camera, when you go on ahead and go too far from one side, it breaks in half, and it looks absolutely amazing. I was really surprised with the way that this game ran on the Switch 2 handheld version, because docked, I'm like, all right, you know, it's docked. We know that the docked version can go up to 120 FPS. We know that it's a very powerful dock for what it is. I really was more interested in the handheld because that's more how I will play this game most of the time, unless I'm just home chilling and can just go on ahead and throw it in the dock. Then that's a different story for another day. But I really wanted to see both and see how they compared. Now, after looking at all those match types, I've seen elimination chambers, I've seen everything. It was just a good experience. My game didn't crash, but I did hear some people's games crashing, so I definitely want to go on ahead and point that out. But it didn't crash because of how many men were in the match. So I want to go on ahead and point that out as well. It seems like the game, the console, handled everything really, really surprisingly well. So that is something to keep in mind when talking about this game and talking about, you know, getting it. So if you wanted to know if it runs well, thus far it has ran pretty well. Now, when you look at graphically, right, just the things that are going on, right, the hair, it's noticeably different from the next gen consoles or the current generation consoles, right? And the reason why I say it's noticeably different, because somebody that pays attention to it, yes, I mean, it still looks good for the Switch 2 version, but it's not all that good looking. And you look at Jordan Grace's hair, for example, it just looks like a slob. And you look at Malachi Black's hair, Aleister Black, sorry, you look at his beard, it looks a little bit weird too. But when I got on the Xbox Series X version, his beard still looked just a tad bit weird as well. So I'm not sure if that's just a him problem or the console problem, but it definitely sometimes just looks a little fake. But again, that just goes back to the hair and just the demands that it actually brings that I personally wasn't aware of, since I haven't played the PS4 and Xbox One version. But those are just little things to nitpick, along with the frame drops when looking, you know, at different moves that the camera pans in on. Everything just slows down just a tad bit. It's not like game breaking, but you can definitely tell that things are slowing down because of the frames and the close-ups. But you can go on ahead, turn that off in settings, and, you know, continue on with your day. You'll probably experience it from time to time, but it won't be the end of the world. Now, when looking graphically at this game, it looks really, really good. And the reason why I say that, obviously looking at the Xbox Series X and Switch 2 version, they look very, very similar. Like, it's not really that big of a difference. And the way it looked on handheld, not having to tone down my textures a bunch or anything like that, such as the Steam Deck, where I did have to go on ahead and do that so it could run well and not get too hot. This console, I played it for about a good 2 hours at one time, and it did not get that hot. I was able to play, go through. Genuinely, it was a very good experience, and I'm the first one to tell you, I haven't been playing this game as much as I probably should since I do YouTube on this game. But with the Switch 2 version being so accessible, being able to take it to different places with me, being able to lay in bed and have the screen right there and play, I think that this is going to be something that I find myself doing quite a lot. The only thing that has been throwing me off as an Xbox Series X user is the buttons, like the X, the Y, the A. It's all over the place. So when I get on the Xbox Series X, I'm like, oh, I'm getting confused now. So that's something that I'm going to have to go on ahead and fight the battle on with. But again, man, just even looking at the handheld, I'm going to go on ahead and show you guys a clip where you'll be able to hear some sound, really hear how the game sounds, and just look at the entrances and the detail. So let's go on ahead and get into that. I'll be right back.
Or not. A match that definitely benefits the more technically minded superstars. A reversal. He saw that coming. He's able to avoid heavy contact.
Now, the DLC was the most impressive part about this. Penta's entrance on the handheld, Penta's entrance on the dock, it just wasn't that different from the current gen versions, which makes this really, really worth it to me. And I'll talk price point, community creations, all that good stuff in another video. I just really want to talk about the console and the game itself and if there are any limitations. Thus far, I haven't really seen much limitations on the actual gameplay of the game. Elimination Chamber runs beautifully. Steel Cage War Games runs beautifully, and it's on both versions. I did not notice a drop off going from the dock to the handheld. None at all. Like, it was genuinely, again, surprising. Like, I can't tell you guys how pleasantly surprised I am at how well this game ran on both. It was just great. I'm excited to, get on an airplane, play this game while, I'm just flying. Like, it feels like a really good experience thus far. And obviously, the game has its issues. I don't think Switch 2 players will actually really notice those issues as much, because if you guys don't know, the image uploader is not on Switch 2. Custom entrance music, I haven't seen that as well, and I haven't heard anything about it. Is it possible that we may get that at some point? Maybe, but this right here thus far, not much limitations on this game, and I think that you guys may enjoy the way that it runs. Now, we're going to give it a couple days before I go on ahead and put out my official review on everything else with this game, because obviously we know a lot of what's going on with this game, but I definitely want to go on ahead and give it its review with community creations, creation suite, everything. But one thing that I don't want to leave out here is the way that Showcase ran on the docked mode. I really was interested to see how Showcase would do, because Showcase, the intro was truly a big spectacle for me when I first saw it, and I was so impressed the fact that 2K pulled this off. So when I saw actually how it looked like in the game, I was like, okay, this is great. It looks great. Obviously, you see some, frames and things like that, and it's not really like frames dropping. It just looks like their face, part of it. It just looks a little bit odd, but you can barely notice it. I noticed it more on Undertaker more than anybody, but again, I thought that the fact that they got that out there so smooth was really, really big, and I thought that, that was good for Switch 2 players to be able to experience this. And if you are a Switch 2 player, haven't played this game, and you do have this game now, go and make sure that you do play that, because that was my favorite part, hands down by far, of the showcase, and I was really intrigued to see how it would run on the Switch 2. Now, I'm not going to go on ahead and talk anymore here. I am going to go on ahead and let you guys go. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you guys have been enjoying the content. Switch 2 review coming soon, DLC review coming soon as well. There's a lot to talk about. Thank you guys for the support today. This is going to be the third one in a row. I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.